Hey there guys, John Campea here. Thank you for visiting my movie vlog as I'm here to give you my quick review of the brand new Reese Witherspoon movie, Home Again. Now, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you kind of already know the general idea. Reese Witherspoon plays a recently separated mother of two children who's just moved from New York to Los Angeles to kind of restart her life again. Anyway, on her 40th birthday, her and her friends are out partying, and they run into these three young guys who are also out partying. She kind of gets connected with one, then the three young guys move into her house because they need a place to stay, and then wouldn't you know it, the dad moves back into town, and of course, hilarity ensues. Now, here's some of the things I really do like about the film. Number one is Reese Witherspoon. You know, sometimes she gets a bad rap. I think she is really charming when she's on screen. I can't help it. When she's on screen playing certain types of characters, I get instantly attached to her. And that's a really big step forward for any movie. If you have a performance from your lead actor that can bring the audience into it. And I find watching this movie and watching her play this role, she does what she does best. Charm the socks off of you. Now, of course, the iconic Candice Bergen is in this film as well. She plays Reese Witherspoon's mother. She's very good. And one of the other things that was maybe the strongest thing about the movie, other than Reese Witherspoon herself, were these three young guys and their chemistry together on screen. These three bros from out of town chasing their dreams in Hollywood, as everybody does. Anyway, the three guys are played by Pico Alexander, who's kind of the love interest for her at some point, Nat Wolff, and John Rudnitsky, who all together, these three guys do such a great job. And again, they kind of pick up on what Reese Witherspoon is doing, playing really charming characters. And that's kind of the appeal of the movie, if there is any appeal, is they're all really charming, wonderful characters, and you're getting swept up into charming, wonderful characters, meeting other charming, wonderful characters, and them all getting along so well. And as a comedy film, Home Again does fairly well. There are certainly some laughs along the way, certainly a number of uh-oh moments, which you kind of expect in these types of rom-com, situational comedy kind of movies. Those are there as well. And so it brings some entertainment along the lines. Watching Home Again is certainly not a waste of time. However, while Home Again is certainly harmless and it's not terrible and it's not a waste of time and there are some redeeming qualities, ultimately, you can't really say much more about it than that. Overall, this one phrase that was in my head as I came walking out of theater was thin. It's a very thin movie, almost like a veneer of another movie. It feels like an idea for a movie, and this was just like a concept pitch, but they didn't really get into the meat of it. In a lot of ways, it felt like an 80s sitcom, and not one of the better 80s sitcoms, like one of those sitcoms that lasts for 2 seasons and then goes off the air. There's absolutely no depth to any of the characters. I mean, they have Reese Witherspoon cry a couple of times, and I guess that's their kind of substitute for depth in a movie, but not much beyond that. And with that being said, it's quite relevant to point out that this movie is directed by Haley Myers-Shire. And if you've never heard of her before, that's because she's never really directed anything before. This is pretty much her directorial debut. And much like Elizabeth Banks directing Pitch Perfect 2, and you could just feel in that movie that this was a movie being directed by a first-time director, the same thing can really be said here. And that's unfortunate, but it's true. You can tell it's in the hands of an inexperienced director who really doesn't know how to add any layers to anything, how to heighten the humor of a scene, how to deepen the emotional depth of a scene that's supposed to be emotional, doesn't know how to get creative with the camera. You can just sort of feel that. Again, not a bad job. You can just tell it's an inexperienced job by somebody who's never really done it before. Should also point out that Michael Sheen's in the movie playing the separated husband from Reese Witherspoon, and I swear to God, this guy can do no wrong. You can put him in anything. You can put him in a Twilight movie, you can put him in Underworld, you can put him in an Oscar bait movie, you can put him in, which he's been in a lot, you can put him in just about anything, and he will shine, and once again, he shines in this movie. So overall, Home Again is certainly not a bad film. It's certainly harmless in all of its attempts and good intentions. It's just that there's nothing much more beyond that. There's not enough there to take you to the point that you could say to somebody else, this is a movie worth seeing. And unfortunately, while there's nothing rotten about it, I can't say to you, go out and see this movie, unfortunately. It's a nice little attempt by a first-time director. It'll be curious to see what she comes back with next and what she directs next, and then watching her evolution as a director. It's certainly great seeing Reese Witherspoon. She does charm your socks off in it. Nice chemistry between some of the other characters as well, but overall, there's just not enough there to justify you spending a night at the theater. Anyway, the big question here is, what do you think about Home Again? Have you had a chance to see it already? What did you think? If not, what are your expectations of the film? Is how I described it pretty much what you were expecting? Were you expecting something totally different? Jump into the comments section below and leave me your thoughts. While you're here, why don't you take a second, click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.